Panasonic is back.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Today marks the return of an icon. Panasonic to the US is huge news in the TV industry as they are legend and they have been missed. I'm joined today by Panasonic's very own Alex Freed as we discuss the launch in the US of 3 new models that start to go live today. Without further ado, here is Panasonic's Alex Freed to talk about the return of an icon. Thank you so much for watching. All right, guys, I'm Brian from Brian's Tech Therapy. I am joined by very special guest, Alex Freed from Panasonic. Alex, how are you today?
I'm well, Brian. How are you?
I am beyond honored and proud and happy and excited to have you here. Thank you for being here. I know it's a very busy time for you because you are launching an entire lineup today, in fact, when this airs. But Panasonic, as we talked when I met you, the return of Panasonic is something that every TV person out there is so excited for, as well as myself. So I'm beyond happy to have you here.
Yeah, well, and we're more than excited to be back in the U.S. market. And I can't tell you how many questions I fielded over the past 10 years of when are we coming back and can we get some models, etc. It's fantastic to finally have a positive response that you can get them today.
So this is going to be airing the day that the TVs are actually available. We have 3 models. We have the Z95A, which is your flagship. We have the Z85, which is an OLED. So the top flagship is a W OLED with micro lens array technology. The Z85 is your next level down, and you have the W95A, which is your mini LED.
Correct.
Which ranges from 85 inches down to 55 inches.
Correct. Yeah.
The flagship has one size, 65 inches, and then the Z85 has a 55 and 65.
Correct.
So now that that's out of the way, Alex, as we were talking off air and when I first met you in New York a few weeks ago, we were talking about the king of TVs. And the reason why I want to bring it up is that competition had just wrapped. And the TV year in many ways is done. And then I get contacted and don't know what it is. And it turns out it's Panasonic, which is my love, which is the last TV I bought without even seeing a single review was Panasonic. And every time a TV wins that shootout since I've been involved with it, there's always the discussion that there is no king unless Panasonic is involved.
Yeah, well, it's great to hear that, and I'm sorry to be gone for so many years. So
missed you.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. When we were planning out the relaunch and looking at the calendar, I guess late in that phase, we also kind of found out when the shootout was occurring. And there was a moment in time where we contemplated, should we put the model in the 2024 shootout? And, what would be the implications of that? And obviously, the shootout itself is something that's a very well attended event by everyone in the industry, and the results are very well publicized. It would have been great to be represented in 2024 and to see how we stacked up against, the great models that were present at that event. But we certainly are looking forward to 2025 and to adding a little more competitive fuel to the fire.
Well, considering that I saw this again when I thought the TV year was over, all major releases are there, to have you guys there to basically say, no, it's not over yet. And from what I saw from the demo from you, Dan of Panasonic, and the Japanese team from Panasonic, hung in there with anything that would have been at that shootout. And that's being very kind that it would have hung in there because it looked absolutely stunning.
Well, thank you for that.
It may have won that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say what it was competing against, but I was blown away. And that would have been if you just put it in last minute. I was that blown away by it. You want to talk to me a little bit about what you guys showed me and what you guys are launching with on the day of, it's going to be September 4th, which is today.
You know, first off, I think it's an important message for us to remind the U.S. audience that, you know, a lot of people in the U.S., you know, don't eat, sleep, and breathe televisions like you and I do. And so even my friends and family, they're like, oh, Panasonic is out of the TV business. Definitely not the case. You know, Panasonic, you know, when we did leave the market, we have been in the TV business every year since. We have tremendous market share in Asia, tremendous distribution throughout Europe, South America, and our models continue to win awards every trade show, every new model year, and our technology and our performance continues to improve. So it's not something that we had to relearn as a company. So, you know, we've continued to develop and mature our products, you know, every year since we exited. And so we're very pleased to be bringing our latest and greatest back into the United States. In terms of some of the demos, I mean, so much of what we try and focus on is picture and audio performance. We know that consumers are very discerning. They, you know, expect not only to have the full array of content available to them through their device, but they want to make sure that content is optimized regardless what format it's in, what physical media, whether they're watching from a cable box, whether they're watching from an app, whether they're casting, whether the content itself is being streamed in HD or SD or whatever it is. They want the best picture quality possible for that type of content. And so, you know, we have the right technology, we have the right relationships with content creators, we've got the right processing technologies, the hardware technology to bring it all together and deliver on that consumer expectation.
Well, and Alex, the processor, the name HCX Mach 2, I mean, it just has that name, but all you've said about where you've been is what's made us so jealous here in the US. Mm-hmm. Because everybody here, the real TV enthusiasts, have always known that people that follow our channels are from all over the world. That's why they throw your models out there and say, wait.
Yeah.
You know, Panasonic is still there. And I had the chance at CES to see some of this lineup. I kind of stuck in the back, and I put out a video on it. And the minute I found out it had micro lens array, I was like, we need to see this. I was blown away by it, especially the picture and the audio. But Panasonic's signature of processing, can you speak to me a little bit about that? Because to me, that's what has been talked about in the last number of years, and Panasonic's known for that since the plasma days.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, our processors, the HCX Mark II, and it really provides us some great advantages when it comes to processing. You know, we use 3D lookup tables that are, you know, other manufacturers do as well, but Panasonic, I think, has been using them longer, and we have a lot more experience in using them that provide the color accuracy and the color reproduction that really, you know, have that vibrant pop on screen. At the same time, so much of what we're trying to accomplish is in the contrast, in the fine details, in those dark settings, those shadows, those night scenes. You know, we try to not overcompensate and make what something should be black into gray so you can see the details. On a Panasonic OLED, you can see the fine details in a fully black setting as well. At the same time, our devices offer tremendous clarity and detail. So all of that comes out about as a result of our processing technologies and the HCX Mark II.
Well, and to your point, the demos that I was shown, and we do this at the Shootout too, is basically torture tests.
Yep.
The Japanese team had basically, I will try and find out what scenes those were, because I want to find out which, they were brutal.
Yeah.
And the Z95 handled them with ease. And it was amazing in comparison to the competition, which was at the Shootout.
Yep.
How it was able to match and then surpass shadow detail and color and gradients. And I was blown away by it, and couldn't wait to have one, which I do have behind me. Way behind there, I have the box in front of it. The reason why I don't have it on is I can't do it justice from this far away, and my camera is going to wash it out. But I will tell you from my time with it, it's amazing.
Well, thank you for that. And as you saw when we spoke a few weeks ago, we're not only measuring ourselves up against the competition in terms of consumer models. You know, ultimately, we measure ourselves against what the Hollywood industry is using for color accuracy. So, if you recall, some of our demos had our consumer devices, our OLEDs, next to a reference monitor. Something that the average consumer wouldn't necessarily have in their home, or probably does not have in their home. But these are the types of devices that coloring professionals would have in their editing studios when they're looking at content, frame by frame, pixel by pixel, to make sure that the color and the contrast and the detail is optimized to what the filmmaker intended it to be. Light, dark, somewhere in between. They want to bring to the screen exactly what the filmmaker's intention was. So they're doing that, and they're checking that on these, highly complex reference monitors. But right next to those reference monitors sits a Panasonic OLED, because they also want to make sure that what is being done on the reference monitor is translating to the home viewing environment. And to measure that, they use one of our panels, which is great. We're very proud of that working relationship we have with the Hollywood community, and of the feedback and the calibration that they afford us in our development of each new successive year, to make sure we're always staying on top of the latest and greatest in terms of technology, in terms of codecs, and making sure that our devices are always able to, ultimately be competitive in that King of TVs competition come next year.
And that was a laughing moment for us, Alex, as the team put up something on the screen that talked about the awards that Panasonic has been winning over the years. And I remember kind of saying, well, I'm a little jealous. I had no idea that you guys were still winning these awards in the US in the film industry.
Yeah, so Panasonic's history with Hollywood really started all the way back in 1990. At the time, Panasonic, or Matsushita at the time, was acquired MCA Studios for $6.5 billion. Does not sound like that much today, but back then it was actually the largest single acquisition of a U.S. company by a Japanese company. And so all of a sudden, Panasonic now owned Universal Studios in Hollywood, and it got us into the filmmaking business. And from that, we used a lot of those same learnings in the studio industry to translate to our consumer electronics business. Panasonic ultimately created what's called Panasonic Hollywood Labs. So we could work, sort of in an agnostic way with all the Hollywood content creators across all studios. And that's been a tremendous asset for us as well. And in 2008, as you referenced some of the awards, they actually won an Emmy for some of the technical work that they had done. And, whether, like I said, SD, HD, the 3D era, HDR, with the era that we're in today, those technologies, Panasonic has been at the forefront of establishing those, and always making sure that we're not just following, but we're at the cutting edge.
Well, and you certainly are, by what I've seen here, especially the gradients, the color gradients, the screen uniformity for WOLED is amazing. Mm-hmm. But the accuracy and the flexibility to push the brightness without it actually looking inaccurate.
Correct.
I was pretty surprised no matter what preset I went in. And it's amazing seeing a new brand that I haven't seen in a long time, and seeing the different presets you guys have and the different signature. But is that signature for you guys is to be as accurate to Hollywood? Is that something that you guys have carried over for many, many years from even the plasma days?
Absolutely. And that started with, again, you referenced our plasmas. And that's really where Panasonic started to establish its reputation as the premier, TV to watch in the industry. Plasma was a fantastic technology. It unfortunately wasn't something that we could continue. A lot of people, as they've come up to me over the past few years, they would love us to bring back plasma, and that would be a great story as well. But
you have no idea, Alex. The comments will say, we have so many in our community, even in the forums, that still refuse to leave their ZT60 or their VT60. They still are like, hey, I'm not ready to jump. They don't care if 8K or 18K, they're not leaving yet. And I had plasmas until recently, but amazing to have you guys back in the market. Now I have to ask you, you've been with Panasonic how many years now?
17 and a half.
17 years now. Has it been hard being there, wanting to were you kind of feeling like you wanted to push to get back into the US market? Well,
so it's been interesting. For my own role at Panasonic, I've actually been supporting our TV business the entire time. So prior to my current responsibilities helping our US relaunch, I was working directly with the business unit based in Japan, managing our content partnerships. And I still have those responsibilities as well. So I was working hand in hand with our team in Japan and all of our content partnerships, whether it's Prime Video or whether it's, YouTube, Disney, things like that. So all of those fantastic apps that appear on smart TV platforms, a lot of consumers just say, "Oh, they're just there." Well, they're there because people like myself and my colleagues in other companies, make sure that they're there, and they make sure that the devices meet the technical specifications and the right agreements are signed, and all of that fine details are worked out so that consumers have a wealth of entertainment to enjoy. And so that's kind of been my day job, as it were, at Panasonic. So I've been involved in the TV business for the past 10 years, sort of indirectly. Certainly, it would have been a great benefit to have TVs present in the U.S. market while I was in that role. But now, I'm glad to be one of the team pulling it all together and getting us, I won't say to the finish line, because in reality, today is the starting line.
Yeah, and so personally, it must just be amazing to have. For you to be part of this company for so long and then help steer it back to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked that you guys are back. So up until recently, you guys have kept a great secret. Up until recently, we were asked right before the shootout, is Panasonic going to be there? And I spoke to the people from Panasonic at CES, and it was absolutely not. No shot at all. So we've got the story. Now, you want to talk to me about your operating system being with Amazon this year. It is a Fire TV. You want to talk to me a little bit about that partnership?
Sure. So actually, that partnership was announced at CES, and it was a global announcement between Panasonic and Amazon. And essentially, Panasonic had used its proprietary operating system, the last few generations of which were called My Home Screen, for several years. And we had maintained our proprietary operating system for many reasons, one of which was that we wanted, real control end to end of our device. We wanted to make sure that every aspect of decision making and of the feature set that was present on our devices was enabling us to continue to provide that best-in-class picture quality and audio performance and all of those other key things that Panasonic wants to hang its hat on as a brand. But over time, we also recognized that consumers were expecting more out of their devices. Smart home connectivity is a huge factor now, and consumers are expecting their TVs at home to do more than simply just, show great looking content and have great sounding audio. They want it to connect to doorbells and to lights and to sensors and to switches and all of those things. And there's other factors as well. And so our operating system did many things fantastic. It was never really designed for that purpose. And so, we set out a few years ago to say, all right, we have some choices to make. We need a refresh. And so, okay, we can either do it ourselves or we can look for the right partner. And so, both options were considered. And a lot of different partnerships were considered. And Panasonic, globally does, distribute TVs of varying operating systems in different territories around the world. So, these are all relationships that do exist within our company globally. But, we did our comparisons and our checks and balances. And at the end of the day, there was a clear option that was best for us and a clear fit that was best for Panasonic. And that was our partnership with Amazon.
What I love about that as well, though, Alex, is we talked about, and I was surprised when you had me come in, that these TVs were going to be available immediately. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're going to be purchasable there also shows, at least for me, that you guys are looking to not do a partial launch. Or we've had manufacturers in the past come back and then sold obscurely.
Yep.
So they'll love what they see. Can I get it? Only through this retailer or that retailer. For it to be available for everyone is amazing. Now, I can put to rest any concerns about it being an Amazon Fire TV, of it being diluted from Panasonic's past. The TV is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And where the Fire TV and the TV settings end and begin is very clear. So there's no trouble in seeing where this operating system is and then where does the Panasonic settings are. So it's all very well and beautifully laid out, but the picture quality is off the charts. So for anyone that thinks that because of this, hey, it might not be what Panasonic used to, I can put that to rest right now without doing any kind of review yet, because I've spent a lot of time with it. But I want to talk a little bit also, Alex, about the form factor real quick, because we talked about, and I want to bring it up simply because the ZT VT60 plasmas were gorgeous.
Yep.
And the stands were very elaborate, Sound was always fantastic. We talked about processing. You guys do your own chipset, right? Your own processor, which is incredible. And I'll circle back to that. But the design I want to talk about is because the sound on this display is incredible. Talk to me a little bit about the sound capabilities of specifically the Z95.
Sure. So, we're very proud of Panasonic's legacy in audio as well. And part of that legacy is our ownership of the Techniques brand and the great reputation that Techniques products have in both audio performance, turntables, headphones, etc. And so, we draw on that in-house expertise to really, much in the same way that the Hollywood community fine-tunes our picture quality and performance, our in-house Techniques engineers fine-tune the audio capabilities of the Z95. But the Z95 performance goes beyond just calibration and fine-tuning. It actually has an array of Techniques calibrated speakers along the bottom bezel. And those speakers afford us several different advantages over other devices many US consumers are used to seeing. For one, the room-filling sound that we're able to generate. When you're sitting down watching, your favorite cinematic masterpiece, you don't need an external audio solution to pair. You certainly can if you'd like to, but you can get that same room-filling 360-degree cinematic sound simply by, using your Z95A. Another feature that is fantastic with the physical speakers being on that bezel is that you can focus the sound in whatever direction that you want. Not everybody has their main the main seating area set up directly in front of the TV. Sometimes the TV is in the corner. Sometimes it's, offset a little bit. So you can focus the sound coming out of the TV directly where you need it to go. Another feature that is achievable on the Z95 with the sound focus, if you have someone that perhaps is a little hard of hearing. Let's say you're having a group of people over to watch the big game, and Grandpa's is one of the crowd, and his hearing isn't what it used to be. So you can push the sound more to his direction. Everyone else is still listening to the gameplay and to the commentary at a normal volume, but for where he's sitting, he's able to listen to it on a little louder volume without everyone else getting drowned out. And then also, if you think back to the pandemic days, everyone was working from home. The kids were doing school from home. So let's just say you're sitting at the dining room table trying to get some work done. The kids want to watch something on TV. You're trying to kind of keep tabs on what they're doing, but at the same time, you need to focus in on what you're doing. You could focus the sound to where they're sitting. You're still able to kind of hear it in the background, and it's present, so you can listen in just to make sure they're watching what they should be watching. But at the same time, you're not being interrupted and taken out of the moment for what it is that you want to do. So, those speakers to us are a core part of our overall delivery of Hollywood to the home. People love to go to movies in part because of that speaker array, and, hearing that speaker sensory demonstration that usually comes at the beginning of a huge release. We're bringing that into your living room, into your den, into your basement, into your bedroom. And we're very proud of our ability to do that, and we hope everyone enjoys it.
But when you showed that demo, one, I didn't think I'd be able to do it with the TV that I have, but you can.
Absolutely.
It's the mapping, and you think it's marketing. The spatial audio, blah, blah, blah. No, when she from your Japanese team was moving the speakers over, I had to move over with it, and then I did it here. And I had the kitchen counter, as you can see, to the other side of the TV. And I did watch TV like that for a while. And you can take it away from the kids if you like.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You can take it away. But as I talked to you off camera, as I had the TV on this morning with some demo material, it's the first TV I've ever put on just for music and just listen to it. And it's not just those speakers in the bezel. It's a speaker on the top. It's the speakers in the back. They say Techniques right on them. Now, I know we talked a little bit about a styling choice. It's a little beefier than typical OLEDs. And I think some people may say, well, is that an interesting design choice? I was used to it immediately. It has a very elegant look. Want to speak to me a little bit about that design choice?
Sure. So, I think it's both functional. The design follows the function for which it's designed for. Back in my earlier days at Panasonic, I was an audio product manager and learned a little bit about audio technology. And essentially, to create sound, you need air. You need room for the speakers to vibrate. And that just unfortunately takes up a little bit of real estate. And so, I think once you're watching the Z95A and you look at that beautiful picture, everything else just fades away. And additionally, so many people in our market are just accustomed to, all right, I bought this fantastic TV. It's very sleek, it's very slim, etc. But now I've got to buy another audio device for a few more $100s, and I'm going to put that right below my TV anyway. So I took this great, slim looking design, and now I'm going to stick this 3-4 inch thick black bar underneath it that, it stands out. And so, yes, yes, our bezels are perhaps a little bit chunkier than some of the competition, but I think the benefit that you get from it, and that, the room filling sound, and there's no secondary audio solution that's needed, I think it far overcomes any negative detraction.
Well, and that Atmos upfiring,
yes,
is noticeable, because I have watched a number of movies on it. And I love that you said that, except you probably take away a few $100s and say a few $1,000 if you want to have a corresponding soundbar with a manufacturer. What I also thought was great in the setup, Alex, is it's not just this spatial, doesn't just run around the room. It literally asks you how close the wall is, how high the ceiling is, how close the adjacent walls are. I've never seen one quite as elaborate as that. So that Techniques, I wouldn't say partnership. It's your company.
It's not a partnership.
I was over. I said, "Wow, Techniques."
Yeah, and again, that comes from having that expertise in house. And our guys know audio, and they're very proud of that knowledge, and they're very proud of the performance that other Techniques products carry. And obviously, we want to leverage that to the best that we can. So,
it's very customizable, by the way.
Yeah, and all of those attributes that you mentioned ultimately affect the performance of the audio performance of the device. How your room is set up, and what other things, and how far away you're setting up the TV to the wall, or how high your ceilings are. All of those things ultimately contribute to how well the device performs in the space that you're putting it. And so we want to. Yeah, we want to make sure that the user is able to optimize the performance of our device for the space that is going to be used.
In this room that we're in, the ceilings are about 12 feet high. It's massive, and it filled the entire. Again, I was in the bathroom listening to the music, my routine, and I would not have guessed that's a TV putting out that kind of audio. So absolutely amazing. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my favorite subject, which would be gaming.
Sure.
And when Panasonic came back, I wasn't aware of much of their gaming features from CES. So I was very pleased to hear about 144 hertz, G-Sync support, obviously FreeSync. Talk to me a little bit about the gaming aspects of the TV, because I also gamed on it already on both console and PC.
Okay.
And beautiful image.
Well, thank you so much. Well, first off, beyond Hollywood content, we know that gaming content has gotten so cinematic and so technical. I don't want to date myself, but my gameplay is more Mario Kart and Nintendo Wii and stuff like that. So
I'm definitely older than you then.
Yeah. So, but you look at the games that are coming out and have come out for the past decade plus, and it's beautiful, and it's really driving a lot of Hollywood creativity. But that also challenges, a lot of TV manufacturers to be able to respond to that and to reproduce, much in the same way that we work with Hollywood. The same challenges exist with gaming. So Panasonic has established True Game Mode, which is a set of menu settings that gamers can use when they're in gameplay. They don't have to get out of the game to make adjustments. So in True Game Mode, you can be in the game. You can say, all right, yesterday I was playing Madden 2025. Today I'm playing my first-person shooter. I need a different sort of audio performance because I want to hear where people are. So let me change the audio settings on True Game Mode. And you don't have to leave the game to do that. You can do that while you're playing it. Or if you're changing some of the screen settings as well, you can see it live. Oh, yeah, I changed the setting. I look at that. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Let me change it to something else. All of these attributes are achievable within the gameplay. You don't have to go to a separate menu, take yourself out of the moment, and then come back and see the result. You can do it live while you're gaming. And you mentioned the 144 hertz refresh. We know that's an important aspect for gamers as well. And we're proud to feature that not only on our flagship OLED, the Z95, but also on our mini LEDs, the W95. So 144 hertz refresh on both the Z95 and the W95.
Well, and also we talk about the game menu, that the overlay on screen is also very good, and
Yes.
it does show tone mapping. It has,
Yes.
it's not just you know, different features you won't use. Those are features you're gonna use. But what's interesting about an image like Panasonic's, accurate, beautiful, filmic, a lot of times gaming ends up being something that's left behind in
Uh-huh.
terms of picture quality. And I'll tell you that I was shocked to hear that you guys would be here with that kind of accuracy, and then to bring the gaming performance and have it be an accurate game mode, because I've already tested the game mode and it's beautiful
Well, thank
and it's
you.
flexible.
Thank you. Well, and listen, we're simply responding to what consumers are doing with these big, beautiful panels. We know that gamers, just like people passionate about movies, gamers are buying these big screen TVs, and perhaps even more than the casual TV viewer, the gamer knows exactly what they want, and they will do their due diligence, they'll do their research, they'll know the feature set, and we have a great respect for the gaming community and the research and the work they put into making their TV purchase. So we wanted to make sure that when a gamer was looking at what options to consider, that we checked all the right boxes, and we put ourselves in the mix.
And it makes things easier for us when we recommend. Sometimes things can be so pushed to say, well, this is good for movies, this is good for
Right.
gaming, but to strike the balance between the two is excellent. I'd like to discuss the other models, if that's okay, Alex.
Sure.
I've only talked about the flagship, which has micro lens array. Can you talk to me a little bit about the Z85A, the
Yeah.
55 and 65?
Yeah, so the Z85A shares a lot of the same horsepower, same processor. It has obviously the full same operating system, all of those other benefits. From a size perspective, it's offered in two different sizes, the 55 and 65-inch options, as opposed to just the 65-inch on the flagship. And we recognize that there are people out there that are going to price is really not a factor, and they're going to want to buy the most premium performance model available. But is a large segment of the market out there that says, you know what, I really love the picture quality of OLED. I just can't, I can't swing the full flagship, but I want to be able to get the same benefits that in my purchase. And so the Z85 is really the core that has the widest appeal to that audience. Tremendous picture quality and calibration, tremendous audio performance as well. Same gaming menus. A lot of the other core features, same Fire OS functionality, same smart home dashboards, same ambient mode, which we can talk about in a few minutes. And it really brings a lot of the best out of the Z95 at a more achievable price for many consumers.
Well, I was thrilled when I walked in and saw a giant 85-inch, by the way.
Yes.
So that leads us right into the W95A mini LED. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the mini LEDs, just as a technology, have really taken off, and it's amazing, how far that technology has come in really producing fantastic picture. Even our own engineers and people that are very close to the TV industry, when back 10, 15 years ago, they were plasma snobs and then OLED snobs and things like that. But you look at the picture quality that we're able to produce. Again, same technology, same processing, same sort of expertise going into the horsepower that drives the W95 mini LED. And when we talked earlier about the Z85 being certainly an achievable target for many consumers, the mini LEDs are even more so. And it's great to be able to offer them in that full size range from 55 up to 85 inches. It's amazing. Back when we were still in the plasma days, we had a 103-inch TV, which seemed massive. It seemed like the size of a queen size mattress. And you think, like, who would ever put one of these in their home? And trust me, back 10, 15 years ago, people absolutely were putting them in their homes. But now it is not, every day you walk into a big box store, you walk into electronics retailer, you see people buying 75, 85 and bigger screens to put in your average suburban home or average size apartment. It's incredible. What consumers are looking for, especially in the United States, where homes are bigger, spaces are bigger, rooms are bigger, and people want that cinematic experience. So to be able to sit back and relax and enjoy the football game or your favorite movie on a large 85-inch screen, that is fantastic.
Yeah, well, and it's funny, leaving the plasma market, I was like, an LED, because it was always, Panasonic versus all the LCD makers
Right.
back then. Now, I know we talked about that the sizes are a little limited upon this release, and I think your response to me was, well, this is just our first.
Correct.
I know you guys are open to explore different sizes for all the models, correct?
Correct. So, we're coming into the U.S. market. It's September. We recognize there's 4 months left of the calendar year.
Yep.
So we're bringing in, what we feel are our best models globally. So these are part of Panasonic's global lineup. These aren't models that were developed somewhere else and rebadged Panasonic. These have all of the Panasonic DNA built into them. But this is, the 2024 lineup and the 2025 lineup, and there will be one, will be bigger and better, and even more offerings for everybody in terms of sizes, in terms of screens. We're very excited about our roadmap and what's to come.
And we're going to see you at CES, correct?
You will see us at CES, and we're finally able to talk about US TV. We don't have to keep our lips sealed and a strong poker face at CES, except when we're actually playing poker.
I mean, Alex, I was harassing this poor guy. I'm like, come on, you can tell me. And he was just kind of standing in the booth, and he had a very strong accent. So I think he was from Europe, but he's like, I don't think so. I'm like, please.
I will say he might not have been lying. He might not have been fully knowledgeable. There have been, concentric circles of trust in the company internally, and as we've gotten closer to our U.S. launch, those circles have expanded as more and more people have been brought in to help support our launch, and the teamwork that everyone on the Panasonic side, both in U.S. side and Japan side, has really been remarkable. We certainly couldn't have gotten to this point without a full concerted effort across the company. And that also extends to our partnership with the Amazon team as well. But so whoever you were speaking with at CES, he might not have been in the circle of trust at that time. So he wasn't necessarily lying. He just didn't know.
Well, I mean, just knowing people at all the manufacturers, nobody knows.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know people in all these different areas. So I was shocked when it was I didn't know it was going to be a Panasonic refrigerator. I was like, sure, I'll go. And then I was shocked just at what you guys had shown. Is there anything else, Alex, that you want to add to the lineup, or do you want to discuss that I haven't covered, or any features that you want to talk about, whether it's the home automation or some of the other features that you want to discuss?
The one other thing I'll talk about, which was a little bit of a challenge when our engineering team and the Amazon team got together to start the development of these models, was how does Panasonic maintain a little bit of its DNA? With these, we didn't want to simply just be another Fire OS device. There are great Fire OS devices already in the market, and they have a place. And we didn't just want to be another one of those. So we needed to do some things to continue some uniqueness for Panasonic, especially people like yourself who, love our brand and love our products and are accustomed to that. So, when you're using one of our 2024 devices, you'll notice that the device menus are what a Panasonic device menu would look like, not what another Fire OS device might look like. In the United States, we brought, even though we'll be using the traditional Amazon style remote control with the thumb pad and not the full numerical remote control, Panasonic was insistent on bringing, its My App button onto that remote control. So you can program to whatever your favorite content provider, your favorite smart home service, whatever function of the TV that you want to utilize as a direct control button, you'll be able to do that on the Panasonic Fire OS device. And that's not something that you can do on any other Fire OS device. And then also the ambient mode is a great story for us as well. It'll be the first, I believe, non-Amazon branded product to feature ambient mode. So it allows users using AI image generation. With a few fun prompts, you can generate any sorts of images that are used on the background of the TV. So when you're not enjoying your favorite movie or show at home, you have something beautiful to look at. And it's not just a big rectangle on your wall. And in addition to the beautiful art that's displayed, there's some handy widgets, whether it's a calendar, a shopping list, a to-do list, etc. So this becomes a very functional thing and not just, that big dark circle or a big dark rectangle on your wall. So we're very excited about some of these unique features, even within the Fire OS world. And we're very excited to be back in the US and available for sale.
Well, that AI artwork was actually pretty cool when you guys demoed it, because other manufacturers charge for a portrait setting or an artwork setting. So to have the team kind of come up with rainy New York and they put up a really beautiful image. I was going to try and do it here, but I ran out of time. Is there anything else you want to cover? I think we've got pretty much everything talked about.
No, I listen. I'm thrilled to spend some time with you and to share our story. It was the right moment. We had the right product, we think, and at the right time. And we're looking very much forward to what's ahead in the coming months and the coming years.
Well, from TV enthusiasts and my entire YouTube community and those that we share communities, you've been missed. And when I met you and Dan and the team from Japan, what's the name of that team specifically? I want to give them a shout out.
We could say the TV business unit in Osaka. We had Tiger and we had Takagi-san. It was we had Chewy out there. Yep. So the whole laundry list of characters.
So it was amazing to be able to. When I sat down, I kind of just took over and just told you guys I loved you. I just kind of said, hey, before you start, you have no idea how much you guys have been missed. It's not just saying that. I mean, Panasonic has been missed by the U.S. and the fact that you're here changes everything. It's not subtle. I mean, it is a massive difference that Panasonic's back in the game. So I thank you for spearheading that and helping bring that here.
Well, thank you for the enthusiasm. I tell you, the type of enthusiasm that you've expressed, and we've heard those comments. Whether we were at a European launch event and someone would pull us aside and say, "Hey, when are you coming back to the U.S.?" Or let's say we were at another product event here in the U.S. and someone said, "Hey, this is great, but when are you bringing back TVs?" But now
especially you're like, I've been here 17 years and I live in the U.S.
Yeah. So it's great to be back, and like I said, couldn't be more excited.
Fantastic. Alex, well, it was an honor to speak to you. Thank you so much for bringing our true love back to the U.S. Thank the team for me. I would love to have you guys have you on again. And throughout this video, the B-roll I've shot for the Z95 is playing in the background. You'll see it throughout the video. I mean, it's gorgeous. And you guys don't have to worry about it being some fire TV. It's an absolute Panasonic beauty through and through, from top to bottom. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you again, Alex. Take care.
Absolutely. Be well.